Good morning from State Adventures. My name is Carolina Gilcapi, and I am here to help you plan your trip to Peru. There are so many different ways to enjoy this really magical part of the world, and we have been creating private custom trips for the last 19 years. So let me show you what that would look like. I have an itinerary put together, which I will share with you here and we can go through it together. That way you can understand how the logistics work, what's included, how you can make the trip your own, because this is a private trip just for you, and we can make any changes you'd like. So, Peru, private tour for two, and I have started the trip in May. Of course, you can choose any dates you'd like. Now, thinking about the climates in Peru, there are really just two seasons, wet and dry. So if you are really into being in the outdoors, you want to kind of think about going during the dry season, which is between middle of April to end of October, let's say. Peak months are June, July, and August. That's when everybody's going to go hike. That's when all the groups will be there. Of course, summer vacations, and it is the driest, coldest months because it is winter in Peru. But it gives you the opportunity to really be outdoors every day. What happens if you can't travel during the summer and you can only go during our winter, like November, December, January, February, March? You can still go. You will still see plenty of people visiting. However, in the afternoon, there's usually an afternoon shower. So we always arrange around the climate. We will do tours in the morning and then siestas in the afternoon. So don't worry if you can only go over Thanksgiving or over the Christmas holidays. There are plenty of people who do that and enjoy the trip. So May 3rd, you're going to fly into Lima, Peru. That is the international airport. And every time you fly into an airport, come in on a train, there's always going to be my guide waiting there for you with a sign with your name on it to make sure that you are, welcomed in, taken to a private car, and driven to your hotel that we handpick for you. So in Lima, there are so many different hotels. It's a big metropolitan city. I chose the Iberostar Selection Miraflores. It's a new five-star hotel. It's right on the ocean. It has a rooftop pool. So it's really great. The rooms are fresh and modern. So it fits the city really well. You could walk everywhere to the Lovers Park, to the malls, to shopping, to beautiful walks. So it's a really well located hotel as well. And we will be there for 2 nights. So your first day is your arrival, and your second day is to see the best of Lima. So it is a full day, and you let me know this is too much, or I love moving around and seeing everything. We do two things here. First, we have a private guide meet you after breakfast. And speaking of breakfast, under each day you will see BLD. That stands for the meals that are already included in your trip. So you will have a guide meet you and then take you to the highlights of Lima, like Larco Museum, like the cathedral, like the main square. So you will see some sites around Lima, have lunch inside the museum because they have a great little restaurant in there. And in the afternoon, you're going to meet our gourmet guide who will take you on a walking tour of Lima. This continues to seeing sites like Huacapuclana, seeing the Larcomar overlooking the ocean, having pisco sours, having local milkshakes, going to the market and tasting some fruit along the way, having beautiful food inside the ruins. So lots to see and do. We can tweak this day if you only want to do the gourmet tour and do it in the morning. If you want to do at night, go to a beautiful restaurant. Like Lima is home to the top 3 restaurants in the world. So there are so many really wonderful ways to do this day, and we can talk about it to make sure it fits your style, especially if you like to sleep in or if you are a morning person, we can tweak it accordingly. So then on day 3, we're going to say goodbye to Lima. Our guide will pick you up and take you to the airport, and we're going to go to the Amazon jungle. So the Amazon is huge. It's split between multiple countries, and in Peru itself is split between 2 different cities. So there's Puerto Maldonado, where we will fly to, and there's also Iquitos, which you may have heard of. If you fly into Iquitos, I will take you on an Amazon cruise. There are some luxury, beautiful cruises that we can enjoy there. If you fly into Puerto Maldonado, we have a number of amazing lodges. Reserva Amazonica, which is included here on your itinerary for 3 nights, is the best lodge in the Amazon. It is spectacular, down to the plants that they have now planted in front of the cabins to avoid mosquitoes coming into your room. I mean, every detail has been thought of. So you will do excursions, you will do canopies, you will do tours by boat, you will visit indigenous communities and villages in the jungle. You will not rough it while you're inside your cabin. You have electricity, of running water, a hot shower. It is a beautiful property, really wonderful rooms. Like I said, the best lodge. Everything is included. From the time you land in the Amazon, they will pick you up and bring you to the lodge. All of your meals and all of their tours done with a local guide. You will go on excursions during the day and at night. And what will you see? I mean, you never know because it is not a zoo. It is not a sanctuary. It is a national park. It is a wild, jungle, and you never know what activities you can come across, which we build them around the water levels and the climate as well, and also what animals you may see. You never know. That is the beauty of the jungle. It is such a surprise every day. But if you go in with a mindset that, okay, this is not a zoo, I might not see A, B, or C, you will have an amazing time. So let me know if you have any questions about the jungle. In the Amazon in Peru, you do not need any vaccinations. And in general to Peru, you do not need any visas. So that makes it very easy. You will spend 3 nights in the jungle and take a flight to Cusco afterwards. And that is about a 45-minute flight. And then from Lima to the jungle, when you are arriving there, it's also about an hour. So these are not long flights at all. So once we say goodbye to the jungle on May 8th, we're going to take that 1 hour flight to Cusco. Now we are at high altitude, and I never have my guests start at high altitude. We want to acclimate easier. So once we arrived in Cusco, we are in that Inca triangle, Cusco, Sacred Valley, Machu Picchu. And Sacred Valley is the lowest of the three, especially some of the places in the valley. So we take you right away to Sacred Valley so you can acclimate, breathe easier, sleep easier, spend 48 hours in the valley so that you can rest, really get your body acclimated, and then go to Machu Picchu. But what will we do during those 48 hours in the Sacred Valley? When you arrive, we're going to see some sites that don't require as much walking. They're not strenuous, but will still be quite impressive, like the Salineras, the Inca salt farms. And if you can see this picture, every one of those little squares is owned by a different local family, like an indigenous family that live in the villages in the mountains, and they come and work these salt mines every day. So it is spectacular to see their beautiful, colorful clothing out on these salt mines, collecting the salt, farming it. It is a way of life here. We will also visit Chinchero, which is a local community with wonderful women who are business women and entrepreneurs. We'll have a lovely lunch here in the valley, and then check you into a hotel, which is Hacienda Urubamba. Great little lodge, amazing scenery. You definitely wake up here and feel like you're in Peru. The views here are just amazing in the valley because it's all green and lush, and then there are massive mountains all around. And then our next day in the Sacred Valley, I'm going to show you some other places like Miss Minai, which is a very special community that we sponsor here at Sade Adventures. So every time a client visits, we were able to deliver supplies and food and anything that the families here need. There are about 40 or 50 families that live in this community. And every time we send one of our clients to visit them, one of the families kind of adopts you in and shows you the way of life in the valley. So you might be bouncing a baby on your lap, or you might be visiting with an older couple or a shaman, or anything is possible here at Miss Minai. You will learn the pachamanca, which is how they cook the food in the ground, which is a beautiful culinary experience, sharing a meal with the indigenous community here. We will also take you to Ollantaytambo, which is a massive ruins and a thriving community as well. So there's lots and lots to see in the Sacred Valley. You have private guides throughout, so we will go at your pace, see sites that interest you. If you are a market lover, we'll spend more time in the markets. If you love museums and sites from history. We will focus on that. So again, we can tweak that as we go, but all of your meals are included here. And then on May 10th, we are ready for Machu Picchu. So we're going to take you to the train station, ride the Vista Dome train about 2 hours to the ruins or to the village. In the village, our guide will organize everything. Where do your bags go? Where do you go? We're going to take the shuttle right to the ruins, have a private tour of the citadel. So Machu Picchu is split between 6 or 7 circuits now. So it's very organized, and that is a way for us to conserve the ruins so that our great grandkids can visit and the ruins will still be there. So we pick one circuit on the first day for you to explore, something that is quite scenic. You have beautiful overlooks. But if you have walking issues or anything like that, we have other circuits that are easier, more flat, less climbing. So we discuss that as well with you. We have lunch either in the village or by the ruins, and then check you into a hotel that's in the village or just outside of the village. Beautiful Machu Picchu Pueblo property, acres of gardens, beautiful trails. So if you still have some energy in the afternoon, you can definitely take one of their walking tours that they provide to all their guests. Dinner is arranged at Machu Picchu. And the reason we're spending a night here is most people, or at least the backpackers, will get back on the train that evening and leave, but we will stay. And this means that we have access to the village, access to the market, access to the hot springs. And in the next morning, when we wake up, we will return to the ruins for sunrise. This means way less people at the ruins, amazing colors, amazing views, and an opportunity to do some hiking in the morning. So here's a picture of the ruins. So there's multiple circuits that you will see around the ruins, but then you will also see many different mountains all around. There's Huayna Picchu, Uchu Picchu. There's Machu Picchu Mountain is where I'm standing as I'm taking this picture. So there's at least 3 different mountains to climb, and we can discuss, do you want to do some hiking? If you do, we will pick one of these mountains, include the permits, include the guide, and you will head back up there. It is included. If you don't want to climb any mountains, we can do another circuit completely different from yesterday, or we can do a soft hike to the Sun Gate, which is the entry to the Inca Trail, which is beautiful view as well. So there are many different ways to enjoy Machu Picchu at sunrise the next morning. Then we'll have a nice lunch, return to the village, collect our bags, and take our train to Cusco. Now that we are fully acclimated, we're going to end the trip in Cusco for 3 nights. And I chose the Marriott. It's an old convent that has been redone into a hotel. And I usually am not a fan of large worldly chains, but they have done such a beautiful job. And you definitely wake up and you know you're in Cusco. They have monks taking you on tours. They have a museum and a beautiful spa underneath the hotel in the under level. So there's just some really wonderful experiences here. They even have ladies from Chinchero come at breakfast with their alpacas and llamas. So it's a very lively experience. So we're going to spend 3 nights in Cusco. The first day is your arrival. The second day, sleep in, enjoy. Have a leisurely breakfast because you have been waking up early every day for the last 10 days. And then we're going to take you on a tour of the best of Cusco, the main temples, Coricancha, the ruins outside of the city, the main square, the cathedral. There's so much to see and do, and it's all walking, but we have a car available. So we'll go from side to side by car, but then we'll also do some walking so you can feel as part of the city, which is a really wonderful town to explore. It's quite a large city, but it definitely feels like a little village, especially if you stay around the main square and just sit and people watch, and you see a lot of the local people will come in and do the same thing. And then on our following day, our last full day in Peru, day 11, I suggest we go see one more site like the famous Rainbow Mountain. And I can go into many details about Rainbow Mountain, which is Vinicunca, but I like to bring my clients to Palcoyo, which is a way less known Rainbow Valley. Just as colorful, just as beautiful, not as difficult to walk because it's a nice paved, windy road to take you into the valley. And there's also a stone forest there, some amazing photography opportunities, but probably one person to the 10 that go to Vinicunca. So way less populated. We'll have lunch out there, come back probably around 4 p.m., have some time to refresh. And in the evening or in the late afternoon, I suggest we do our Cusco cocktail tour or mocktail if you don't consume alcohol, which is quite fine. We even do this tour with families and kids. What we do is have a local chef take you around to at least 3 different restaurants in Cusco, where you will learn how to make little drinks or mocktails, where you will do milkshakes if you're with the kids, where you will have little tastings of restaurants. But it's really fun because you're wearing an apron and you're running around Cusco and you really are part of the city and see it from a different perspective and go to places that you probably would never go as a visitor. And then we will end the tour with Map Cafe. This is inside the Archaeological Museum of Cusco. It closes down at 6 p.m. and we book you a dinner inside the museum when it closes. So not only do you have a beautiful experience and a beautiful dinner, but you will also have access to the museum and see the relics in there after everybody leaves, which is really a night at the museum kind of experience, a little bit spooky, but such a wonderful way to end your time in Peru. And day 12 will take you to the airport, fly to Lima, and fly home. If you have extra time, I highly suggest adding Lake Titicaca. It is one of my favorite places in Peru because here in the Cusco Machu Picchu area, you kind of experience how things were, how the Incas lived. It's a lot of history. When you go to Lake Titicaca, it's how things are. The people that live on the lake, on the floating islands of Uros and Taquile, they have been living like this for hundreds and hundreds of years, many generations. So it's fascinating to see a thriving community still continue with their traditions. So it's a nice add-on. If you have 2 extra days, add it on. I highly suggest it. So that is what Peru looks like. Of course, we can make any changes you'd like. I would love to hear your thoughts, what works, what doesn't, if the dates appeal to you, or if you have other dates in mind, we can make the trip your own for sure. Thank you so much for listening and happy travels.